Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Good to see you. I got some 3 concurrent viewers at least. I hope you're having a great day. Drop a comment saying hello. I'd like to see who's out there. And man, it's been a while. It's been a while because of summer, because of travel, because of sickness. There was a bout of COVID that ripped through the house. The wife got it. The kids probably dodged it. I got sick, but it wasn't COVID. But still, it was like, as you guys know, if you have family, one person gets sick and then the boomerang, it's just like you pass it around. Or even if you don't pass it around, it's like you kind of throw it away, get rid of it, and then it just kind of comes back a week or two later because it was dormant there with the others, and then someone else and someone else. So yeah, summer was great. It was also super busy and so yeah, I think it's been for a public live one with you guys, like just the public, whoever wants to come. It's been 2 months, I bet. So I'm glad to be here. Gregory, I see you in the chat. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you. Appreciate you popping by. Hope you're having a good day. I am having an amazing day. First of all, it's gorgeous and sunshiny outside in Vancouver, Canada, even though it is. So this is fall, but Vancouver, Canada is definitely, we are usually like, we have a summer for 3 months or 2 months. And then we really have like a rainy, wintry, kind of cold and gray, dark experience for 8-9 months. And so right now in September, we're just in that transition. And today it happens to be about, let's see, 65, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, or like 20-ish Celsius. Gorgeous sunny day. Time off with my wife. Both of us have Fridays. So I woke up early this morning, met with some boys, some of the guys from my church, and we go for like a breakfast, and we just kind of have some quality time from like 6 to 8 in the morning. Nice early morning breakfast and some coffee, and then go for an amazing donut with the wife here. So like a little date with my wife before I came on live with you guys. Artie Stonefish, good to see you, pal. Thanks for popping by. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's been a while, and lots of things are happening. The land is still closer. SPS touching, like, breaking lows. SPS or DEC still below 750 splintoshis. Man, lots of cause for concern probably, but also, you know, room for excitement. And there's a real tension there. And I suspect you feel that too. A tension between, right now, things are like probably the most bleak they've looked in a while. SPS breaking into new lows. DEC falling from like 850-ish splintoshis, and like it was seeming like maybe it was going to hold in there, and then land was going to launch, and maybe that was going to push us right up to peg, and maybe it still will. But we were going up with SPS, we were going up with DEC, we were going up with card values, and then land, the pullback on land, or the setbacks on when it launched, seemed to just kind of take the wind out of the sails. And I would say for the last month, we've been dealing with that. And now land, I know, is on the MAV network, MAV server. I don't have access because long story short, I had access, or have access. I deserve access on my main account. But long story short, because of what I did with my Discords and trying to change my account name, it just I ended up losing that access. I need to get it or reacquire it, but just too busy to kind of bite the bullet and make it happen. But I've seen some of the coverage. It looks good. I think it's gonna be great. I still, and that's that tension, because there's a lot of bearishness I just raised, a lot of concerns, SPS price, DEC price, card prices, and maybe we'll do a deeper dive on card prices in a minute, because I've been tracking my own card values, and I've seen that they're lower now, like a lot lower. So I want to see where that difference is. We'll touch on that in a minute. That's the darker side, the bleaker side. But man, of course, LAM 1.5 looks great, and I really think it's going. I think we've heard from many significant voices in the game and in the space who have many plots of land, tracks, or regions, and they're seemingly ready to activate or preparing to activate all of them. So in the last town square. Aggro has talked about how he has 2 regions and he plans to. Gank has been actively diversifying who owns his plots for within his region so that they can all be put to work. Then there's who is the person? There was a visitor on the last town square and he has 2 regions. I forget who it is now, but obviously a big player, and he says he's going to activate every single one of them. And so it's starting to feel like, just anecdotally, like there is a greater degree of excitement around launching land at maximum occupancy. And I don't think that means we're going to launch 75 or 100% of plot land. I think it means maybe it's 40 or 50 though. And that's a big difference from what I was originally thinking, around that 20% or even 10% range. Time will tell. But yeah, you guys probably feel that. Hey, there's before these things happen, there's a lot of question marks. And even because they were about to happen and then they pulled back, it's like there's probably more tension because it was so close. It was going to launch. It was going to be on the map. And then SPS was spiking above 2.5, I think. And then DEC was 850, 900 Splintoshis. And then it was like, oh, wait a second, we're not ready. Setback. And then prices dived since. Gregory says land delay past August really slowed everything back down. Kind of feels like the slow after surveying and claiming. I wonder if you guys think that this might mean, do we have cause for excitement that the next, when it actually launches properly, officially, 1.5's out, has there been such a lack of fanfare? Has there been such a setback, like Gregory said? It caused setback. It created slows. It created delays. It created the sense of maybe like a frustration that's lulling the prices. Is it possible that when it launches, I think one of 2 things happens, right? We either see like it doesn't move the needle the way we hoped, and it ends up being a bit of a dud because of the sort of tension around a moment like now, or the excitement is just rekindled and like the prices do just turn around. And I really think that's possible. I don't know. Where are you guys leaning on that? I guess I'm leaning towards the bullish sentiment because I think land is a big deal. And I think if we get 40 or 50%, we will see significant moves in DC because of the staking requirements. And then that might affect Flywheel, and that might affect SPS price. And it definitely affects card staking and therefore card availability, supply and demand, therefore price points. I think. Birds, bees, and trees. Good to see you, pal. Thanks for popping by. And Jamie, good to see you, bud. Geeked Out Basketball. What's up, everyone? Gregory, Level Up Life. Gregory, are you telling me that you are Level Up Life? No, you're just mentioning Level Up Life? Because was it level? No, you're right. Level Up Life was on the town square, but no, that he's not the one with the 2 regions. Oh, maybe he is. You're right, though. He was on the town square. That's it. I'd actually love to talk to Level Up Life, because hearing a bit of what his story, and it sounds like he said something about how much DEC he has. He didn't say the exact number, but he talked about having a huge amount of the liquidity pool DEC. And he's like, I'm not taking any of it out of the liquidity pool. And then Aggro said he's taken all of his DEC out of the liquidity pool, which Level Up Life is like, let's go. That's just more yield for me. And this is a topic we've talked about before around yield with the liquidity pools. But if you begin to understand it, I think there's there's an approach within Splinterlands. There's an appeal to the game of Splinterlands that can come outside of the game itself. The game is fun. I like the game. I've played it for 4 or whatever years. I love it. Just recorded a rank grind video yesterday, posted it last night. It doesn't get the views that I want because, not everybody cares for the gameplay, the mechanics. But man, I enjoy it. I enjoy this game still. And that says a lot to me. That's important to me. But But there's a whole other game. There's actually multiple games. There's the rank battle experience. And then there's the game within the game, like managing your economy, the SPS bag, the DEC, how do you handle that? Maybe you might wrap in that how you recruit new monsters for your team and build out that team, whether it's rentals and using those wisely, or whether it's monster flipping so you can get a bigger, sort of more proficient pack of monsters. That's part of the game within the game. But then there's all this other extension out of liquidity pools and understanding the tokenomics, but liquidity pools in particular, as any sort of investment in the liquidity pools disappears, DC die 350,000 in there, as any sort of liquidity removes itself from this or from any of the DC partner pairs, DC SPS for instance, 700 grand in there, that means 340 grand of DC is in this pool. If it pulls out because it needs to be utilized in land, the APR has changed dramatically. If the APR spikes dramatically because people are removing their liquidity, then that excites other people to move in. And so, on the one hand, you've got like an aggro saying, I'm going to take my DEC out of those liquidity pools for the purpose of putting it to work inland. And then you've got a level up life who's saying, no way, man, I want that APR. And then there's probably other whales out there that are going to make that call and navigate that decision for themselves, because maybe they are playing land or maybe they're not. But if you see this APR go from 22% up to 32% or something like a significant jump, even a 5% gain from this point, I think you start to change who's interested in this pool. And and that leads to some interesting, like I said, different paths to supporting Splinterlands, to being invested in Splinterlands, to chasing after what Splinterlands is doing. Because it's not just the game. It doesn't have to be just the game, and it's definitely not just the game that attracts people. Richard, good to see you, buddy. I think it will move the needle for sure. So land 1.5, Gregory's saying we'll move the needle. I think so too. I can't, like, part of there's a bear in me too. And that bear kind of cast doubt on this moment because we've seen, like I said earlier, the wind's just being pulled out of the sails a little bit. But man, as I try to imagine because as I said earlier, I think we've got reason to believe 25 to 40% of the plots of land are going to be activated. And I say that from an upgrade for where I used to be, which is like a 10 to 20% is what I used to think. And I think if we get 25 to 40% of the plots activated, we will see a bigger impact to card prices, to SPS, to DEC than you imagine. Geek Out Basketball, I'm excited for the day when they significantly bring in a bunch of new players. That's when I think we'll truly see sustainable growth in all assets. Short-term boost driven by current whales will only go so far, in my opinion. Yes, this is true. This is a worthwhile topic of kind of diving into, though, a little bit, because there's more to it. There's like a conversation here. You're 100% right that attracting a new growth of players. So if we have, let's quickly go over here. You go into splintercards.com and you go into land and you go into rich list. You can see how many, these are the accounts that hold plots of land. Vugtis has 4,500 plots, Game Credits 3,100, etc. Cryptomancer has 3 regions, my guy. This is a staff member. See, this is the sort of thing that gives me crazy bullish sentiment. Cryptomancer has 3 regions. The guy works for the company. He knows what it's going to be. He's been part of the development of the land itself. Like, he has a backstage pass to see what this is. And he's so bullish, he holds, what is that? I don't know what region's even going for now. Right now, let's see. We got to see this. But I want to go back to how many players are playing in a moment here in just a second. We're in the market, we go other items. I bet there's no regions for sale, but if there were, what would they sell at? Land region, yeah, none's for sale. Over to Hive Engine. None for sale. Yeah. Okay, so it's hard to price it, but what's a tract going for? 9 grand. So if you said times that by 10, 90 grand, call it 70 grand for just to like round it down and give yourself like a bit of budget. You're talking, the guy has $250,000 in land assets in a game, in a video game. He has $250,000 worth of assets in a video game, and he works for the company. You know, he knows things that we don't know. And sure, different people have different risk appetite, and he might just be more aggressive, more willing to sort of roll the dice. And you might say that he's going to be wrong. Well, anybody can be wrong. Sure, I guess that's possible. But man, it gives me confidence when I see that. When I see guys like, you know, Aggroed also, and Matt also, just buying up Roonies, buying up plots of land, buying up these assets. But I want to circle back because I was going to go over to Splinter Cards and talk about the rich list, because this is the number of accounts with a plot of land. We have 3,775 accounts with one plot of land. Oh, that number's gone down dramatically. Or hang on a second here. Total plots. Yeah, that number's gone down dramatically. Interesting. Because it was closer to 5,500 before. So people had plots of land in different areas and they're consolidating. This, my point in bringing this up, you've heard it before. This to me is an interesting metric to measure how many different accounts there are, human beings in the game. 3,800, and I think you got to add some because not every human in the game has a plot of land. If you doubled that, even, is there 8,000 players? Maybe. So small. To touch back on Geeked Out Basketball's comment, such a small audience. And if we get to a place, if we get to a place where a bunch of new players join the game, that absolutely will add to the sustainability of the growth in all the assets. 100%, you're right. But my point in wanting to dive a bit deeper in your comment was that I actually think it's super... I think we're still going to... I have 2 points I want to add. One, I think that sort of growth is definitely possible and will come. I think the player base can grow 10x, 100x, conceivably. I really think that. And the things that would do to our economy would be wild. But I think we're always, you mentioned in here, short-term boosts driven by current whales will only go so far. And I think that's both true and like, how do I want to say this? Like, I think that's going to just be the way it is. What I'm saying is, I always think a game like this is going to have its cycles, its ebbs and flows. I think we're going to see bull and bear runs because I think crypto is going to influence the conversation on these assets always. And so even as our economy grows, because new players do rush in and people and new audience members will stay even through the next bear market, I think we'll see this spike and this regression, and then there'll be a lull and another spike and a regression as long as we have crypto in this game. And as long as cryptocurrency broadly isn't widely adopted, and it's just nowhere near widely adopted yet. That's what I'm saying. And that bottom line is, to me, as important to the stability conversation, because that's what you're talking about. You're talking about price stability, price going up, but then being stable there is going to happen when and if NFT blockchain-based video games actually become widely adopted. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin specifically, but the broader cryptocurrency market becomes integrated in the global economy in a way that it's just simply not right now. It's still so niche, even Bitcoin. And that's why a token like Bitcoin can move within the last 12 months, man, like double. Like, where has it been? Within the last year, it's up 40%. That's such a crazy gain in 1 year. Such a like, I mean, from an other investment, if I go to gold, silver, let's see gold spot price. We go scroll down and we go into 1 year. So 1 year gold spot price, the high was 2050, the low was 1620. It's a pretty big range too. You know, that's a 20% swing, isn't it? Yeah, it is about a 20% swing. So it's far cry from the 40% with Bitcoin. And gold is kind of a micro market. If you get into Dow Jones, this is so much larger. And then you get into like this, there's an even more stable price point here. 13% up is big. But from a perspective of, you know, like I just said, Bitcoin's 40% up and gold is 20%. There's been a 20% swing from top to bottom. So I think what we need, if we're going to ever get, I'm not 100% sure we'll ever get what I'm describing, but I mean total acceptance within, you know, broader markets. Bitcoin being included in the average pension funds, Bitcoin being included just in everyone's savings. And then that sort of a system would be one where cryptocurrency has the respect and appreciation that I think it would need for NFT blockchain-based video games to not be niche, but to be commonplace. And then you'll start seeing AAA titles stepping in and making their blockchain-based video games where you receive reward for time and attention, because why not? It's literally no skin off their back to create a point system. You know, Shoppers Drug Mart does this. I'm not sure what country you're in, but wherever you live, there are point systems, air miles, shopper points, like, you know, gas station gives you points, your restaurant gives you points, etc., etc., etc. Those points could just be tokenized cryptocurrency, and that is what we're talking about. We're talking about a broad acceptance of blockchain within a reward system, recognizing that that this is just, it just makes sense, it just fits. But right now there's kind of there's a doubt, there's a skepticism, and when that goes away, I think that's when, to your point, we will see the sort of stability that we hope to one day see within Splinterlands. I said I want to look at my asset prices. Let's do that. Go over to X. And then I'm going to go into, I got to scroll down and find my last post on prices, card pricing. It's been a few weeks. Here we go. So July 28, wow. So it's been almost a full month. Go ahead and comment. No, I'm gonna go with a quote. There we go. And then we're gonna check these prices quick because I want to see where the price distinctions have come. I suspect it's the modern cards. It's Chaos Legion. Oh, is it gonna be Alpha Beta? We'll see. We'll see. It might be oldies. Let's find out. So let's get into Alpha first. Go to my cards, go into owned, Alpha, 1835.48, 1835, 1835. That's down 100. We're like roughly 5%. Okay, and then we come over here to beta, 33.18. And that's down, 10% roughly, 8% maybe, from 3,700 to 3,300. Yeah, roughly 10%. And betas were taking a beating before too. Like, this is a big deal. Now let's go to promo. Promo 25.91. The reason this 25.91, this could be really important information because it might point us towards the best bargains that are available. That's why I want to track this, because if one of these goes down 30%, that might be a buy indicator for that specific edition. The rewards 95.98, that's a big drop. 95.98. Wow, that's literally a 25% drop on the reward cards. Untamed, $65.29. And that's a beast of a drop too. That's like a closer to a 30% drop off, I think. From 8,800 to 6,500. It's pretty close to, I think it must be 25 to 28% drop. Okay, dice. $1,014. We're down 20% on that one. Chaos. Chaos just above 10,000. 10,331. Ooh, that's a good 30%. 10,331. That's a good 30+% down. Rift Watchers. Rift Watchers 2131. 2131. And that's almost stable. So my previous total for all my cards was 46,300. And my current total for all my cards right now, 37,750. 37,750. That is a beating. But I want to see specifically where the price differentials are coming from. Like I gave you rough numbers, and it looks like Untamed Dice, Chaos, and Reward are just getting slaughtered. Last month has not been kind to Splinterlands card asset. Okay. And I have an Excel in here too. Okay. And so we are that's 2 months ago. So that was June 26th, July, August. Wow, no, 3 months ago. Wow, that's a big difference since I've last when I last checked. September 22. And so we go 1971 3760 2512 12211 88. No, that's not right. My bad. Yeah. Back to home, go back to here. There it is. Now 1835 3318 2591 9598 6529 1014 10331 2131. We go boom. There it is. So I'm down 8% on my from my last check-in. I'm down 8%, but in between here I did watch the price, and we were up to 47,000. So this is not properly reflective. This implies stability, but between June 26th and September 22nd, I did measure, and I want to say a month ago, and it was up $7,000 or to 47. So that's 10 grand that's disappeared from my card prices in a month, roughly. I wish I documented that. I didn't, so I can't compare it now, but I'm down 8% in total since my, I guess, local highs over here in June. Yeah, no, I guess the highest high was in May, or yeah, in May of this year. In May, these cards were worth 53 grand. Wow. So it's been a spicy season. It's been a tough season, and I know you guys have felt that. We need a breath. We need something, don't we? We need something to be celebrating, something to be like real. I think 1.5 could be huge. That could be the thing. But I'm personally pumped about Rebellion. Rebellion is something I think is going to be a game changer in a major way. I think we're going to be super excited once we see it. I know asset prices, and I know, we only have so much money, and, we have concerns about like paying for our rent and our food and whatnot in real life. So it's like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to go for another pack? But man, I think Rebellion is going to be something different. I think that the summoners are going to be different. I think the abilities are going to be dramatically different. I think the card art is going to be totally different, which is cool, but incidental really. I think utility wise though, it's going to be a complete game changer. Yep. Richard says, when do you think the peak prices will be for chaos and card prices? Just before Rebellion or after? Okay. I don't think I agree with either of the suggestions. Well, after. In short, after. But I'm thinking your question seems to suggest, do I believe chaos card prices will be greater before Rebellion launches or immediately after? And you don't say the word immediately, you just say after. But I definitely don't think the release of Rebellion will help chaos card prices. I think the release of Rebellion will initially cause a lack of a desire to own or acquire Chaos Legion packs. And so that will frustrate the Chaos pack holders, myself included, for another period of time. But I stand by my long-term suggestion that Chaos card prices will appreciate significantly, as well as the packs themselves. But it's a matter of getting them off the market. It's a matter of opening the millions that exist, the millions that are in our hands, as those start to disappear because people choose to open them for fun's sake. That's where we start to see price appreciation. As we see cards being locked up within land and the rental market being driven higher because people need cards to play the game. They want to play tournaments. They want to play, brawls, but they don't have those cards. They don't want to buy them. They've gotten used to renting them. But guess what? All the cards that were for rent, or a large portion of them, are now locked up, staked onto land long term. That will drive rental prices higher. Rental prices being driven higher will drive card prices higher. So I actually think land 1.5, the success of it, the 30 to 40% launch of it, 30 to 40% of those plots being activated in a substantial way, will be the catalyst that will drive not just Chaos Legion card prices, but every card price higher. I think first and foremost, you'll see implications for reward cards, because reward cards have taken a beating. But also Untamed, man. Untamed is just getting slaughtered from 8,000 to 6,500. Oof. Is that for real? Let's give me a second here. Gotta check this out. No, see, I had a July note. Okay, so I'm gonna pop back into here. Boom, boom. Eight seven 8796 1265 710 2105 46334. Yeah. Wow. My assets lost 19% between July 28th and September 22nd. So back to your question. I think Rebellion's not going to help Chaos card prices. I think we're going to see Chaos card prices continue to suffer until such time that we see sync for them. We see just cause for their removal. And that might be land 1.5, and I expect it will be. But it'll also be... There's incidental stuff that you could talk about, like the way that SPS is earned after land opens. Right now, you earn SPS by having a plot of land. Soon, when it's land 1.5 launches, you earn SPS by staking, using, and farming SPS. And so that path will create different incentives for the use of land and cards. And that will have its downstream effects for how cards get used and how available they are in the rental market, and therefore the profitability of the cards, and therefore the total value of the card, because the rental revenue that comes out of a card is absolutely an indicator and a touchstone for why and how it's priced for sale, right? If it makes $1 a day, you're not selling it for less than $300, because in a year you can generate $300, right, from renting it. So that matters. The rental cost matters, and the rental cost will drive higher as land does what it's supposed to do. And that will be the bigger issue, not so much the issuance of Rebellion. But when I think about Rebellion, my excitement is not so much what it'll do for, not what it is as an investment. Although I think Rebellion, regardless of how many units they release of it, and I bet we're talking 5 million packs. regardless of what they do with it and how my first thought on Rebellion is not how it is a financial opportunity. My first thought on Rebellion is absolutely this will be a game changer. The abilities that will be released, there will be new ones. The synergies that will be created will be amazing and new and exciting. The alterations that Rebellion will imply for the modern league will be dramatic and literally game changing, because all your Untames are going to be moving out. So I think the bigger implication is not even so much if we're having a conversation on how can Rebellion affect card prices. I generally say pulling it down for the short term with a long-term understanding that these cards all appreciate. That's my view. But I would say if there's going to be any negative fallout from card prices because of Rebellion or the anticipation of Rebellion, it's going to land actually on Untamed. What do I mean? Untamed cards are the cards that are first and foremost going to move out of the modern format. And I would argue that the modern is the more attractive human to human experience because it's bot resistant, or they're fighting bots, etc. They got terms of service to ban them, right? So I'm saying, if we're talking about how will card prices be impacted by the release of the new Rebellion set, I think you got to look more at Untamed than at Chaos. Chaos itself will stay in the modern even with Rebellion. Chaos itself is still as exciting as it was yesterday, in my opinion. And you might say that's a low level of excitement, sure. But as those packs get deleted, and they will eventually get deleted, you'll see appreciation on those packs and those cards. Plus land stands to do a big sort of effort toward that. So yeah, I'm excited about Rebellion, not for what it's going to do on card prices, but absolutely on what I expect it to do for changing the game in a huge way. But I think I'm right about Untamed, because I saw, as I noted earlier, in June my Untamed cards were worth $7,800. In July they were worth $8,800, and in September they're worth $6,500. So if you can't track it in your head, we're talking, call it $8,000, then $9,000, then $6,000. That's a huge swing in from June to September. $8,000, $9,000, and then way down to $6,000 is a huge difference. And that's what I've been living through. Because why? Because I think people recognize that Untamed is going to be moving out, and so some of the utility has already disappeared, right? Because you know what's coming. So if you want to sell the Untamed because you want to fight harder, you want to stay strong, you want to have the best deck possible for the modern leagues, it would make a lot of sense if you unloaded some of your more expensive, more important Untamed cards. This is interesting. There are currently no max level kitties on here. $226 is not a high price per BCX for a kitty. And I'm not saying that's a good price. I'm just saying, I sold my kitties probably 2 years ago or a year and a half ago now. No, it was almost a year ago. I sold my kitty for $3,300 US. Pay 5% market fee, get just over $3,000 on it. And then here we have it selling that was a $300 per BCX sale. This is a $226 per unit sale. So, we've come down a long way. And I wonder if we have further to fall. But then you look at other cards too, like Jotun, man, a max Jotun for $1,200. That's a really quality summoner, and I think and it always will be. Now, I'm not saying I would rush out and buy this if I had $1,300 burning a hole in my pocket. I'm just saying, if you want to succeed in Wild, if you're here for the long haul, if you believe in the card's value, if you are a collector too, that's part of the picture. I start to get interested at $1,000. And as this price comes down, kitty, I would love to return my kitty to my deck, because I don't have a kitty. I used to have a kitty. I love that card. Liar Deep Swimmer. That's pretty interesting. I don't love this card, but this is a legendary. It's not a bad card. It's a solid card, and that's a very low price for an Untamed, amazing legendary summoner. What about Chancius? Oof, 300 bucks. Wow, man. Here's the thing. Card prices are just falling. Like, this guy's interesting with the resurrect and the triage and the repair. He's annoying AF to play against. I'm a fan. For 300 bucks I could get a Max Chancius. That's tempting to me big time because I play in the wild. Mimosa Nightshade at $230. Are you kidding me right now? I mean, this is no Kitty, this is no Yodin, but for $200 is a very quality unit. The Void alone is substantial. One of the reasons I really like the Earth Summoner, the legendary modern Earth Summoner, is because it has that Void. It's a big deal. The Affliction's great, but the Affliction largely, you know, because the Affliction only lands where you hit, and you usually hit one spot, like the front line, it ends up being interesting, but it's not as powerful as like a tank heal or a true strike or even a blast. So Mimosa is interesting, but I'm saying for 200 bucks, I get very interested. Like, I'd love to have it. What about Scarred Llama over here? 1100. So the three best, Llama, Zaku, and Kitty, 1100, 1200, and you know, if you wanted to buy it, you're talking 2500 bucks. And these used to sell for, I sold my old Scarred Llamas for $7 a unit. Okay, I'm gonna check them in the chat here. What are you guys up to? Birds, bees, trees. Driving in an area with no network connection. Wait, who has a 250,000? Also, how are you, 12? I am well, birds, bees, trees. Who has a 250,000? Who has a 250,000? Oh, we were talking about when you ask about who has a 250,000. Cryptomancer, who's part of the team, he has 3 regions, 3,000 plots of land. That is equivalent to roughly $250,000 US worth of land assets in Splinterlands. And I was speaking about how it's amazing and exciting, and it should be encouraging that the team, people like Cryptomancer who understand where this is going, are willing to put their money where their mouth is and actually bet on their own, you know, game. That actually gives me confidence. Can we put Gladius cards on land? You can, but there's a whole process for that, and not yet is the short answer. Not yet. But there will be a process for that where you can activate them. I forget what the term is, but you'll be able to essentially burn DC and make them stakeable on land. It's not cheap though. And probably it's cheaper for you to just go out and buy new cheap reward cards than to pay the DC. And you can't do it yet. Land 1.5 will not allow this feature, but it's coming maybe 1.6 or between 1.6 and 2.0. So eventually, yes. Right now, no. And it probably doesn't make sense even when you can. At least not until card prices start going up. But if you have some gold foil legendary or something, that could be really exciting to unlock, because it actually would produce great production power on your plot of land. And so the question is more complicated than yes or no. It's just not available yet. So keep that in mind and look for those future opportunities. If you have some really unique legendary gold foils or epic gold foils, because those can be expensive to buy off the market. And so if you already have it, it can make sense to activate it from your Gladius. Richard, what would you do with low value KS cards in your deck that you are not using and cannot rent? Yeah, that's a great question. And Richard, I actually walked through this recently. Like, I want to say, I don't know, 2 months ago, 3 months, you know, it's probably June or May, when cards were kind of at a high. I was talking about tracking this data. Back in May of this year, my cards were around 53,000 US. Now they're 37,000 US. Big drop off between May and now. And so toward those recent relative highs, I was like, you know what? These cards are good, but they don't rent for anything. And you know, I've got substantial amounts of them, like of these Chaos Legion cards, of these old reward cards that I can't use because I have multiple copies. And so, you know what I did, and what my advice to you might be to at least consider looking at an alternative account. You know, for $10, you could create a new account, and you could put I don't know how big your secondary deck is, like how big. So, oops, I did the wrong account. I don't know how substantial your collection is, if it's just a few extras or if it's a ton of extras. But if you have enough summoners in there to justify like a gold league, participation, then go ahead and get involved, man. You know, get a second account. And I'm just trying to pick a new fray here. And put them to work. Because I've been really impressed by what I'm able to extract. I want to show you quickly. So I've got 500,000 power on this account. This is my 1258 account. And I'm playing in Wild, and I'm using like one of the bots. What are they called? This is a Wild League, so I'm allowed to use bots. And I'm currently using the XBot Lite token. And those are not very expensive anymore. XBot Lite, well, it says $50, but you know, you could put a bid in for 120 Hive, and I bet you it'll fill. So you're not paying nearly that much. Yeah, it's closer to $40 probably. 35, $40. You pick yourself up an XBot Lite token, you put your assets onto a second account. If you have enough summoners to fight in that silver or that gold range, you're going to start accumulating resources. And over here with this account, it started to add up, man. Like it seems so insignificant and trivial. That's the thing about these rewards. You always have to remember, you know, part of us wants to just get rich tomorrow. And I get that. Me too. You know, you want your investments to just blow up. But if you can quietly extract more trivial reward, like you're getting trivial rewards for playing the game every day, they're going to add up. They're going to accumulate. One day they might appreciate. If they appreciate after accumulating, that can be really exponential. But then think about, well, not just one account, but multiple accounts. And so it's possible, at least unless they change the TOS, terms of service, on Wild, that you could just go ahead and run in silver or gold and get some pretty decent SPS returns, get some pretty decent card returns. If I come in here and I look at my reward cards and I go regular gold, so, you know, let's see. I've got a Ferox Defender in that silver range. I've got the Water Collar in that silver range. I've got, you know, silver. I've got silver silver level Eternum Brunes. So I'm talking with like a few months and really just some leftovers. I put together like a silver deck. Like actually we can see this much clearer over here. If we go over here. You come into Splinter Cards, you go to Soulbound, go into Tools, Soulbound Card Monitor. And then you just go into search that account, 1258, check rewards. And I can tell you that I have something like, you know, 10 or 20% of my reward cards that have been accumulated, put together. And that's just with a few months of running a $30 bot on an account that's using my leftovers. So you ask, what would you do if you had assets, Chaos Legion cards that you can't put to work, you got nothing to do with, they can't rent out for significant values. You don't want to just sell them for nothing. I mean, that's not what I would want to do. I'm not going to sell a card for a penny, just period, ever. No, thank you. I'd rather hold these assets with the expectation that one day they can and will appreciate. And then you're betting on yourself. And because you're not going to move the needle for yourself if you come in here and you start liquidating, you come in here and you liquidate some of your modern reward cards. It's just simply not going to do anything for you if you come in here and you sell even a max level Pellicor Bandit. You're going to get what? You're going to get $4. $4. And that's if it's a max one. So I'm saying for like a penny a unit, I'm just not selling it. I will hold it. I will hold it forever. And you're right, it's not going to rent. So then put it to work on an account. And if you don't have the time personally to do it yourself, XBot Lite will work as long as Wild allows it. And, obviously follows the terms of service. I'm only doing it there because I'm allowed to do it there. And I don't do it in Modern. I don't play in Modern right now. So that's what I would do. Jason Jenkins. Splinterlands desperately needs that Bitcoin halving in April 2024 to save the asset prices. That's interesting. Jason, this is like an increasingly, of course, Bitcoin halving is very exciting because it means literally, for those who don't know, that there are half as many Bitcoin being produced every 10 minutes. That's, you know, logically speaking, fundamentally speaking, a huge consideration for the appreciation and like the price growth of Bitcoin, right? If today there's, you know, what is it, 6 units being made every 10 minutes? I might be wrong about that. 6 Bitcoin being made every 10 minutes. And then it's going to 3. That should do great things for the price, right? The price should go up because there's less supply. I believe all those things, but I am inclined to, you know, I've listened to YouTube content creators who look at TA around Bitcoin and they just especially Blockchain Backer. He's a big follower. He is an XRP guy, so not everybody will appreciate him because they hate XRP. But he talks a lot about Bitcoin because he talks about how Bitcoin drives this market. What happens here happens within the broader market. And so I think he's right about these calls, is what I'm saying. And maybe you would disagree, but I would invite you to go check out a guy like him, because he is of the mind that the Bitcoin halving, though fundamentally important, is just not the story that's unfolding in front of us. And I think I'm with him that we are going to expect right now, in the near future, imminently, there should be a price tick up in Bitcoin into that $40,000 range. Maybe 45, maybe 50. That's kind of, these are his numbers. This is his TA. I have no way to explain or justify it. You're talking like retracement levels, talking resistance, etc. But that we held recently in that 20, where let's go right in here. That we held right there at 24.9, and on some charts it was 24.8. He says that was absolutely critical, and that is why we can go ahead and expect higher highs. And so, right or wrong, this is where my head's at. I'm not looking to Bitcoin halving, even though I do see the fundamental considerations there. I'm looking to TA and, you know, the higher lows and now eventually the higher highs, and that translating into translating into altcoin runway. Because as Bitcoin rises, I think we'll see the altcoin season that we didn't see last when Bitcoin reached to 65. And if you scroll, I can try and give some further insight, because if you scroll out to 2021 when Bitcoin, oh, not there, sorry. No, if you scroll out to way back here, 2017, when Bitcoin made it into that $20,000 range, just shy of, you'll notice that if you look at some of the altcoins, they didn't go until Bitcoin had fallen from the top. And so it was in like the January. So Bitcoin topped in December of 2017, but in January, in those 4-week window, we saw things like XRP go from 20 cents to $4. It was as Bitcoin was really done, when it was truly done, that's when you saw altcoins run. And what I'm saying, what guys like, and he's not the only one, but he is one of the ones I look at most closely, is Blockchain Backer will say to you, it's less about the fundamentals and it's more about the TA. And the TA is telling us that we're getting higher lows and higher highs, and we're going to see not one more higher high, but we're going to see one more big leg up with Bitcoin. And then that'll cause a boom and a real wild firework within the altcoin season. Maybe he's wrong. I can't tell you he's right, but I'm betting like he's right. I have to get going in 6 minutes, guys, but I am going to go on to another live with my members only. And so if you're one of my members, just come leave this video when we're done and come find me on the members only live. Icy, good to see you, buddy. Hoping that soulbound cards require the burning of cards to unlock. This could eat up old reward cards and chaos cards. That would be really cool. I was saying recently that, you know, actually recorded a video yesterday talking about card prices and inflation and whether cards are inflationary or deflationary. You've heard me say before, I think these assets are deflationary because you have to burn BCX to make your card level up. Plus, even though there's new card issues, like we're going to get Rebellion, they're so different than Chaos, and Chaos was different than Untamed, etc., that they're not redundant. They're not exchangeable. They're unique and different enough, substantively different. And I think all of that, plus land 1.5 and how it sinks cards and therefore decreases supply, plus a burn mechanism like you were alluding to, could really move the needle for restoring card prices. So I like the idea, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think you'll see things like that come. Skyer says, it's the first time I can manage to catch your stream. Dude, thanks for popping by. I'm going to try and be more regular. I told the guys before at the beginning of the stream, I was irregular with the streams this summer because of family stuff. So many amazing trips. We went to Disney World. We went to Kelowna, British Columbia. We went to just actually several different places. We were really blessed this season. It was amazing. But I will be live for 1 more hour after I finish you guys with my members only. So if you guys are members for the channel, come check me out. Richard says, based on the drop in prices for Untamed, assuming it's because it's coming out of Modern, will Chaos follow the pattern, or is it already priced in? That's interesting. I think ultimately it will follow that rhythm, but you aren't seeing a price reduction in Chaos today because of its eventual removal from Modern, in my opinion. You're seeing a price reduction in Chaos today because people are disappointed that land didn't launch yet, because it was pumping. Those cards were pumping. And I can show the data on that, but they were pumping, and then land got delayed. And then people were like, I don't even know what's coming out. I can't hold these assets and just wait forever. And so I think they've begun to liquidate those assets. Maybe that's part of it. So I actually think one day when Chaos is being circulated out of Modern, you will see a price reduction on Chaos cards, because the Modern League is currently, at least, and probably will be for the future, the place where the human players want to play. The modern human players, the people who want to be the best of the best, don't want to rely on face off against bots. So I think that's a thought for the future, but I don't think that's an immediate concern. Wibble, new pre-proposal out to burn cards for Riftwatcher packs. Matt seems to be in favor. Interesting. I haven't seen that one. Wibble, I'm going to have to look at it. Harry Larry McNary, thanks for the comments earlier, like last week, and for the videos. I appreciate you, dude. Just got here. Love your content. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Alex, let me use my land now. Mavs had it long enough. Fair enough. Me too, dude. I told the guys I am a Mav. I bought way more than enough Chaos Legion packs. I bought 69,000 Chaos Legion packs on my one account. I bought something like 10,000 on my other account. I am definitely a Mav, but I don't have the status because of something that happened with my Discord. SS says, Dwayne, I love the game and started playing 3 accounts before Chaos Legion. I've earned 40,000 SPS. If the bull market hits, I want to sell enough of my SPS to at least break even. That's so smart. SS, remember what you said here. Don't let the bull market and the excitement that will come in the next bull market rob you of that opportunity. You've got a plan. Focus on that plan. If that plan becomes a reality, don't let FOMO and excitement, and when you reach the moon, don't start talking about Mars missions. Just take that profit, enjoy the ice cream, stay true to that plan. That's a great plan. And he goes on to say, I feel like tons of people probably feel like I do. So how will SPS truly rise? So much sell pressure. Such a great question. The question is about, it's about Flywheel. And I'm going to go here in a minute, guys. SS is a great conversation. I will try to do a more up-to-date video this week, possibly on this topic. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this because these are great conversations. But yeah, guys, I'm going to another live event with my members only here in a minute. But great conversation, SS, and I will try and do a video specifically for that question. Hey guys, I appreciate you. Come hang out. If you're a member, come hang out in the members only. If you're not, try and catch me next week, same time. Have an amazing day, guys. Bye for now.